Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a product page from HDTVSupply today, and our mission is to decode the specs of a very specific, very expensive piece of enterprise-grade hardware. It's the Hall Technologies KVMC-UH-8 HDMI KVM Switch.
Right, and for those who might not know, KVM stands for keyboard, video, and mouse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And honestly, imagine dropping $4,480 on what essentially looks like, a slide-out metal drawer.
Yeah, it sounds completely insane on the surface.
Right. It really does. So,
Yeah.
okay, let's unpack this. Why exactly does a simple-looking 1U rack drawer command such a massive premium?
Well, it's because this is a 1U device, meaning it only takes up about 1.75 inches of vertical space in a standard server rack. But it's what happens inside that tight space that actually matters. You aren't just paying for a screen and a keyboard here.
You're paying for absolute uninterrupted control over 8 distinct systems.
Exactly, 8 computers at once.
Because juggling 8 servers usually comes with, like, a total nightmare of latency.
Yeah.
Normally, when you disconnect a monitor from a computer to look at another system, the operating system just panics.
Oh, yeah, totally.
The windows resize, resolutions break, and the GPU basically just goes to sleep.
Right, and that's the primary problem this specific unit solves. It utilizes continuous hardware-level keyboard, mouse, and LCD emulation.
Which is so cool. I like to think of it like leaving your coat on a chair at a crowded coffee shop, right? But on a protocol level.
That's actually a great analogy.
The switch sends a constant hot plug detect, or HPD signal, to all 8 connected computers. So it's actively spoofing the ED, the extended display identification data.
Right, it's continuously telling all 8 GPUs, hey, I'm still here, I'm still a 4K monitor, keep rendering.
Exactly. So the OS never realizes you actually switched away to look at another server.
And what's fascinating here is that because this emulation happens entirely on the hardware level, it bypasses software delays completely.
Wow. So it doesn't even talk to the software.
Nope, it completely skips the OS handshakes. And that is how the video switching time drops down to a lightning-fast 1 to 2 seconds.
That is incredibly fast.
Yeah, and you get 0 screen tearing and, 0 reconfiguration delays.
But that hardware-level processing is impressive, which makes you wonder, where it all lives. You'd think it requires a massive enclosure for all that.
It really would.
But like we mentioned, it's all crammed into that single 1U rack footprint, and it still manages to fit a durable 17.4-inch screen that natively supports crisp 4K video at 60 Hz.
Right, plus a full 104-key keyboard, a touchpad, and integrated front and rear USB 2.0 hubs.
Yeah, but honestly, here's where I really have to push back. We have this incredibly sophisticated, driver-free, EDID spoofing happening under the hood, right?
Yeah.
It's practically magic.
Yeah.
And yet, to switch between those 8 inputs, you have to press these chunky, old-school physical buttons on the front panel. I mean, why? It feels totally disconnected from the high-end tech inside. Why not use, like, a slick touchscreen or a smart software interface?
I completely get why that feels retro, especially since we're so used to touch screens everywhere now. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, it makes perfect sense.
How so?
Well, enterprise hardware is built around fur-proof reliability. When you are managing heavy mission-critical workflows, the absolute last thing you want is a software overlay freezing up.
Oh, right. Or a touchscreen failing to register a tap right as a server goes down.
Exactly. Physical buttons are undeniable. Combine that with the self-locking rails that automatically secure the drawer and the driver-free operation we talked about, and, well, every single design choice is about eliminating failure points.
It just has to work when you need it most.
Precisely.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? When you spend $4,480, which is backed by a 3-year warranty, by the way, you're basically buying an absolute lack of friction.
Yeah, a command center that perfectly manages 8 heavy workflows simultaneously without missing a single beat.
Right. And it really challenges you to consider where hidden friction exists in your own daily workflows and, what it would actually cost to eliminate those bottlenecks.
It's all about that invisible heavy lifting. Pacifying the operating systems, managing those hot plug signals flawlessly, and giving you absolute, undeniable physical control over your environment.
Which leaves a lingering question for you to explore on your own after we wrap up here. If physical hardware is becoming this advanced at perfectly mimicking human inputs and faking out an OS,
Which it currently is.
right, how long until entirely virtual software-based command centers make these physical metal rack drawers a thing of the past? Will we even need to leave a coat on the chair anymore, or will the network just automatically remember we were there?